Welcome. It's cool to see so many people here already. So how it's going to work? So I'll ask everyone to mute themselves. It looks like most of you are already. If you ever have any questions, just type it into the chat. I've got it open here. I'll be sharing my screen for most of the session. So again, you won't have to look at me. And then at the very end, if you want to actually we can do some back and forth questions as well. So you can unmute and we can talk. That's totally fine. Just to make sure we don't get any noises in the back. And just like at Adventure Running Kids, I do have a tendency to talk really quickly, especially when I'm dealing with things I'm experiencing. And sometimes people don't quite understand my accent. So if you ever had any trouble, ask me to repeat myself if you need to. I won't be offended or upset because I have a feeling if one person doesn't understand me, a lot of people might not. Okay. Before we get started, I just want to go over sort of three things and basically about how the night's going to run. Firstly, I was mentioning to Chris before I started, the time I gave myself to prepare for tonight, as I was doing some just sort of going through the MapRun website, I discovered a bunch of things that have been added since I started using it last year and got really distracted. Those of you who are on our Facebook group would have seen I've posted I now know how to upload orienteering maps to MapRun instead of the auto-generated ones. So it's going to be a little laid back tonight. Secondly, everything I've learnt here is just it's been self-taught from when we started using it. If anyone out there has any experience in GIS or spatial systems or any sort of professional experience, there's a very good chance I'm doing something very badly or very wrong. But what I do works for us. So just be aware, if I say I do this way and it's terrible, feel free to tell me afterwards if there's a better way of doing things that you're aware of. And finally, for anyone who's joining here tonight and is planning on setting courses on MapRun themselves for their own projects, for their schools or groups or work or whatever, it is a free app, but it still does cost the developers money to use. So yeah, you can set courses, you can run them for free. If you're able to, I strongly recommend donating to MapRun F. At the end of the session, I'll send a link. They've got a link on their website to donate via PayPal. I've heard various amounts of what's fair to donate. It's somewhere between 10 cents per runner or per use or 50 cents. So it's not a lot, but so if you're doing it for your school and you're able to, a donation of $20 would go a long way for a class. That's it. All right, so I'm going to go to share my screen now. You guys will see me. What I'm going to do is go through the process of setting a fairly straightforward X-League course for people who've done that. And then after that, I'll go through a more complicated orienteering style course. Feel free to stay for the whole thing, leave part way through. That's totally fine. I won't be offended. Even if you leave, we'll be uploading this to YouTube after the fact anyway. So let me just share my screen.
Patrick, it's Amber.
Yes.
So not being part of DGL, I don't.
Yes.
Can you just tell me what the difference really is between X-League
and... That's actually a very good question because there might be people watching from anywhere who don't know what an X-League is. An X-League course is something we started at the start of the COVID shutdown in March last year. These are very straightforward score events. People who know what that means. It means there's a bunch of checkpoints that are all worth different amounts. There are no flags out there. All the checkpoints are very straightforward on roads. They can all be identified through Google Maps. So they're visible from, the aerial view. So they're actually very straightforward to set up. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. And you'll see an example as we go through it because we're going to go straight into that. So I'm just going to share my screen. All right, I'm going to get rid of that because no one needs to see that. Actually, all right. So yeah, I'm going to go through standard X-League course. So for MapRun F, or MapRun, I should say, there are 2 files you need to upload, a .kmz and a .kml. The KMZ file is the map, and the KMZ file is the map. The KML file is all the checkpoints. And it also like has the course information, like what type of course it is on it. So we're going to start with the KMZ file because that is the easiest and very straightforward. Most of it, all of our X League courses are auto-generated maps from a website called OO Maps. So if I just go there, oomap.co.uk, I mentioned, I'm going to send out a document or provide links to a document which goes through everything I'm going through tonight. So don't feel you need to write anything down or follow along. Like it'll all be covered in this document that I'll send out. So I click global. So this is the OO Maps. I go into my area. So what I'm actually going to do now is go through the process. I'm going to sort of start setting one of our X League courses from the this spring season. We're about to start this area in Oakville called Shell Park. This is the area here. First thing I want to do is I actually just want to pick the map. So I just click on the screen, and this is like the very basic map. This isn't the area I want, so I've got to play around with it a bit. I first want to make it a portrait, so I click the portrait button here, and now I just click the central button here and move it around until I get the area I want. Basically, I want the area south of the river to as much as possible north of this road here. Oh, don't want that. So scroll down. This is actually a UK-based website. A guy called Ollie O'Brien who lives in London who does know what he's talking about with GIS stuff. And it's just great for these maps. So this is my area. This is the area, the map I want to use for this week's race. Let me just move my thing. So first thing I want to do, I'm going to change the name of the title of the map. So it's going to be Spring 2015. No, it's not 2015. 2021, week 5. Let's go to Shell Park. And that's it. This is all I want. I wouldn't mind a little bit more down here, but this is plenty. What I do now is I go up here, I click save and get PDF map, and I save and create anyway. And then I click, this is the most important part, I click KMZ. And my KMZ file is downloading here. So that's done. That's the first file done for an X League. If you want to add, you can add some things. If you want to add out of bounds areas, you can do that. You should do that here as well. We've had some troubles in Hamilton sometimes of these paths that are allegedly on the map that don't actually exist. If we're aware of them or we don't want people running on them for any reason, we can add some crosses just by clicking on the map here and adding a do not cross, and adding a do not cross if you want. Or if you also want to show a point where you definitely can cross, it isn't shown on the map, like I imagine is here, I can click a crossing point and go okay. That doesn't really go the way I wanted to, but I believe you can actually do crossing points and you can change the angle of it. So I want it to be like that, or whatever. That's about all we need. That's about all we can do here, I should say. Either way, there's my file. I'm going to go into my downloads and get it and cut it, and I'll paste it into my week 5 folder. So that's part 1 done. That's all we need to do a very basic MapRun F course. Let's go back into... So the next thing I now want to do is I want to set all my control locations where all the checkpoints are going to be. Because this is a basic street map, it's going to be pretty straightforward. But we need those checkpoints in the other file type, the KML file. So for this, I use my maps, google.com/maps, whatever all that is, but Google My Maps. You'll see I've got, these are all my previous courses I've set so far. I've already kind of set up the template for it so you guys don't have to see me go through the tedium. But if I was you and I was creating one from scratch, I'd be clicking create new map. And seeing what we get here. I'll be zooming in to find our area. And what you always want to just start doing is start adding these markers. So just the first thing I want to do is add a start. So I click add marker, and wherever I want the start to be, here, whatever. And this is probably 2 or 3 of the most important parts of this, is I want to call this one S1. The start has to be called S1, otherwise MapRun chucks a fit. So S1's in. I usually want the finish at the same place, so I'm going to put that in now. And I'll click in the same place, and that's going to be called F1. So those are the 2, almost the most important things. Now I can put in all my other checkpoint markers. And it's the same process. Say I want, it doesn't, we'll go into detail about checkpoint codes later. But the way I do it, I just click, and this one is going to be called checkpoint. I want it to be worth 10 points. So it's going to be called checkpoint 10, because that's the scoring system we use. And I'm going to put one here as well. And I also want this to be 10 points. So I call this 11. So we can't have duplicate, I believe we can't have duplicate numbers. But then I'm going out and I want a checkpoint up in here on this road. But I want that to be 50 points. So that's going to be checkpoint 50. Now, there's one thing I've done wrong, which is very important now. So just say that's all I wanted the course to be. Obviously, I'm not, but just let's pretend it was. MapRun F or MapRun won't accept the markers as I've got them set up right now. You have to, S1 has to be the first marker, F1 has to be the last marker. If you don't have it like that, it'll reject it. And now, all I do, if I wanted this to be my course, I would go export to KML. And I click this because I want it to be a KML, not a KMZ file, and go download. And untitled map. If that was what I wanted, I will go to my downloads, click untitled map, put it in. And technically I'm ready to go. I could upload this to MapRun F now and it would create a file. I'm just going to go into a little more detail on my course planning for X Leagues. If I can get into, so this is my typical X League setup. I have my start and my finish. I have my 10 pointers in blue and all the way up 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 270 pointers. For those who might be wanting to set something just like this is kind of like, I'm going to go through my very basic course setting process, and it's, people might be a little offended by how blasé I am about it. Firstly, I'm going to change my map. I'm going to pick my start location. Those who've done a lot of X Leagues now will know it's, you know, like it's going to be pretty close to the parking lot, but I don't want to be so close to the people who preload the course onto their app that it automatically starts when they're driving into the parking lot. So I'll drive down. It looks like there's a pretty obvious feature here and there. There's a couple of parking lots. There's the one near, I would probably, there's a parking lot here, parking lot here, parking lot here. I would probably either pick this one, but more likely this very back one near the soccer fields. I imagine the one near the skate park and the dog park, this area is probably busy. So just for the sake of like picking the quietest lot. If I live closer, I'd probably drive to check it out, but it's in Oakville and that's just too far. Like no one wants to drive through Burlington, right, Tommy? Anyway, but what I can do, the beauty of the internet is, and this is what I use a lot, is just Google Maps. And I can check a lot of the parking lots just by Street View. So I'll go up and I'll zoom back in on my parking lot and see if I can, like, it looks like there is, yep. So I can check out the parking lot. Yep, looks pretty quiet. There is a chance it might be closed. And there's not a lot I can do about that. So I'm looking at this. I can see the soccer, the goals. I would probably use one of those, all these like bleachers right here. I'm pretty sure looking at that's the bleachers, right? I'd probably pick that. That's a pretty obvious feature for the start and finish. that I can, I even people who've done it will know I'll like often just do a screenshot of this and put a big circle around it to show people what the start and finish is. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. I can even scroll down and I mean, you can't really, it doesn't look like, I'll just check to see if there's like, it doesn't look like this park has a gate so far. Now I'm lost. Click it out. And I'll just check here.
There is one, Patrick.
There is. Is it closed right now?
See where it says Shell Skateboard Park? Go direct up. Keep going up, right a little more. There's a gate pretty well right at the creek there.
Interesting.
But by the time we get just past that bridge, there's a gate. So by the time spring comes, though, it should be fun.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So there is this other lot, but although that's the gate there, like this lot also looks like people could pull in there. Oh, there's a community garden or something. I could potentially also do that. But yeah, I'd say by May when this is going to be, that'll be fine. And to be honest, I'd probably still making fun. I would probably still end up driving out there because I've never been there before. I just like to make sure that there isn't like, sometimes you find like a homeless encampment, like right where you want the start to be or something, things are unpredictable right now. So it's always good for me at least to go check things out. So I'm happy. Let's just say I'm happy with my start area. So now what I'm going to do is move my start and finish points, which are the red and the black one, to those bleachers. Am I using the right word, bleachers? It's a North American word that I've never really understood properly. All right. So I'm going to put them on the northern side. So the start and finish, the northern side of the seats. All right. And now here's how I course plan. And people who say I've done a great job and, oh, Patrick, you made a great course, is going to be quite shocked about how I do this. All right. So what I'm going to do, firstly, I'm going to check again my map to remind myself of the boundary. So I don't want anyone going past this road or this river here. I'm obviously not going to have people cross the main road here or this road here. All I now do is distribute all the checkpoints pretty much evenly across the area. So I usually start, I will put one gray one there, one 70 pointer up here. Then I'll put a green one like here and a green one on the opposite side. And I'll just like keep going, kind of like the further away from the start, the more likely it's going to be a high point checkpoint. I'm usually a little less blasé than what I'm doing now. I'm just trying to like give you an example of like, it's not rocket science. Like the further away from the start it is, the more points it's worth. So let's just pretend I finished. I'll put a couple of 20s and a couple of 10s just to show you all. All right. So, but now, as you know, none of these are actually, this is on private property. This is in the middle of the woods. That's not bad. But now all I literally do is move them around until they're on obvious features on the map. Because you've always got to have a checkpoint at a spot where even if there's no flag there, you should always know, yes, that's where it's meant to be. So as people who've done X-Leagues, all these are always on road junctions. This one at least is going to go on the path for now. This is obviously a trail. Who knows what's going on here? It looks like there's a trail junction right here. And this is all I do. I move everything around until like the closest obvious feature to maintain that like distance. I can go there. So let's imagine I've done this actually, but there's a couple of areas I remember. Yes, so I'm going to move one of these. Just let's pretend there's one in here because that area in particular is important to me. Down here as well, there should be something in there. Like there's good trails in there. There'd be things in there because there's a nice little trail network in there that I want to send people on. So I could just literally all I would do is I'd move all these things around until they're all on obvious features. Then what I usually do as well is once I've like roughly done it, I'll like zoom in on every checkpoint just to make sure it's right in the middle of the junction like this. I want to move up a little bit. Just so people, if they're running on either side of the road, the app will pick up where they are. So I don't want people to have to like cross the road or run into the middle of traffic to activate the checkpoint on the app. This one could go like right on the junction there. So if this is a straightforward X League, I'm done. The course is ready to go. and I would do that file upload again. But because this is a bit of an interesting area, we can see on the map here, there's some trails in here I want to put checkpoints on. This is the area I pointed out before. I want to put checkpoints on. I want to get a little more detail, and to make sure everything's correct, I need to go to other sources to make sure I have the checkpoints exactly in the right spot. So for example, this area here, which is, if I zoom in, this Village Woods Park, I cannot see where the trails are on Google Maps. So I can't just drop a pin. So I just can't go, oh, I'm on the wrong, where is it? Here it is. I can't just drop a pin here and go, looks like it's in that'll be, I'll look at the map here. Oh yeah, there's a trail junction right there. It looks like about this far from the road. So I'm just going to like throw it here. We need more than just that. This is where we have to go to different sources. And different regions have different good sources. And also what I'm seeing now is the auto-generated map doesn't have everything. I'm zooming in right now and I can see there's a gap between the houses and a trail here. But if I go to my OO map, it's not showing up. Like this is just showing a road. There's no connection in here. So I know there's probably more going on in here than what's shown. So usually the first thing I do is I go to the city, because it's Oakville, I'll go to the City of Oakville website, which I've handily bookmarked. I think this is it. So usually I just Google like City of Oakville map viewer, and you'll eventually come across, like most cities now have these like, this part of their website that have a lot of the spatial data we need, or I need at the very least. And it actually turns out the City of Oakville is one of the best ones. So it's a good example. So firstly, I have to find my area, which I always have trouble with because I'm not smart. Sedgwick, wait up. Is it further down?
Bottom.
Patrick, I think you got to go south.
Yeah, I think there it is. So here's Village Wood Park. And if I zoom in enough, the city's actually been kind enough to also have a trail network zoomed in. And if you look at this section, you can see the gap here where I saw on Google Maps, which is, this area here. It's also on the city map, but on the open orienteering map, it's not there. So this is where we have to be a little, I have to like, looking at what this looks like and looking at what the city website looks like, I think this is more correct than the OO map course. This is just like a good example of like, all of this data is free and you get what you pay for with this sort of data. So you've got to look at as many different things as possible. So I would normally want to put a pin on one of these trails, but looking here, the trail network is very different. But I feel like I trust this one better because if I zoom right in, you can sort of get a feel of like, this is about right. You can see how the city trail like follows this one pretty well. So I'm going to trust this website here, this data here. So I'm going to, I think, put a pin on this. And actually, if I zoom in, I can actually, it looks like, that looks like a bridge. And I really like putting checkpoints on bridges for whatever reason. So that's going to be my location. This is so, if I click on it, I believe if I right click on it, I can go, how did I do this last time? I think I can't, let me just see. There it is. It actually gives me a lat and long right there, this is perfect. So if I highlight it and I'm just control Cing right now, I can go into my KMZ file. Let's just see, I have to play around this a bit. Delete that. Again, it's just, and it drops a pin exactly where I want my check. And if I zoom in, I can now see that bridge again on Google Maps as well. It's a little bit off, but it's close enough. So now that's my checkpoint. I'm just going to drag one of these to there. And that's now much, I'm happy with that. There's another website I use. called Trail Forks, which is it's actually a mountain biking website. They have a lot of trail data as well in the more well-known mountain bike areas. An area like this probably wouldn't have any data. But yeah, that's just a different, like it's another way to cross-check the right place to put pins. Either way, that's my course. There is another way. Just say I'm confident, especially if I know the area. If I'm confident this trail network is mapped well, and if I look at this area as well, I think that's a little better. If I zoom, I can like zoom in. I can sort of see that trail network pretty well here. And it kind of like matches well with what I'm seeing. So I'm confident this is good. You can also get this data as well straight from another website, but I'm just going to put that in the notes of how to do it. If you just the different areas you get data from, I'm not going to go through every single website I use because it's basically the same process every time. The main thing when you get data you trust, just paste it in this box up here. It puts a little green marker and you just put a pin over the top of it and then delete it from your map. So once again, let's just say I'm happy with this. This is my course. I'll click here, download my KML file, and now I'm going to upload it. Now, if you are course setting for a Don't Get Lost race, all you do now is you send those 2 files to me, and I will upload them to the server. If you are setting them for a group or a school or your work, and you want to have everyone get out and do a team building exercise, there's a way in MapRun to just upload courses yourself for a private session called check sites. So MapRun, I can't type check sites. That's the wrong one. Yes, I think I just go from the websites faster. MapRun F check sites. So this is, again, these are links I'll send. Basically this is actually telling you to do exactly what I just told you to do. You want to go to this link here and get this pretty straightforward screen, which is your check sites upload. You put your details here in your email address, you upload, you put the KMZ file here, you put your course file here and hit submit. Before we do that, we've got to talk about your event name. This is another place where people really, really get stuck because it's really complicated. So you need to put all the information about your course in this event name. The information you need to put in, whether it's a point-to-point course where you put them all, which is where you do all the checkpoints in order, or like a scatter or score event like we usually do, where all the checkpoints are worth different amounts of points and you have a time limit. And it also puts in things where if you want the the red dot on the screen when you're running to be visible or not, if you want there to be a pin code, but you definitely shouldn't do that for check sites. All your options, again, I'm going to send a link, but all your event types are a line course. You have to put PXAC in the file name. For a scatter event, you've got to put PXAS, but you've also got to specify what type of score event, because there's a whole bunch of scoring schemes here. For X-Leaguers, we use W. No, I forget. Let me just look. We use, we do use score W, and also you specify the time. So I'm going to just put one in now just to show you guys. So we're going to use one of the Barry Snowshoe courses those guys up there have done this winter. All right, this is their course name, but I'm going to go through it. So, but we're going to change a little bit. So they have set up a PXAS course, which is a scatter event or a score course. We put a V in it because we want the visual of the dots when you're running. So the little red dot showing you where you are at all times, and a trail. PZ, we're going to delete. That is the pin code. We don't want that for a check sites course because it automatically creates a pin code no matter what. We want a score W course, and we want it to be 90 minutes long. That's what the 90 is for. This is all, like I said, all these scoring schemes are shown on this part of the website here. And it doesn't really matter what we write here. We're saying it's for 7 days. We don't want it for 7 days. We don't really want it for many at all. We want it to be deleted. I'll auto populate my details. I upload my KMZ file. I upload my KML file. Let's just get just do that. And I click submit. All right. And if it worked, this is what you'll see. So what you want to do, no matter what, because you never get it back after you leave this screen, is write down that code. So for this one, it is 159332. Now, if anyone has the app open, they can check this as well if it worked. So and I'm going to do that myself. So I'm going to I won't share my screen right now. So I go to MapRun. Actually, I am going to unstop my share for now. I'm going to put my phone up to. Oh God, no! You can't see that, can you?
No.
Basically, anyone who's working on their phone, I'm going to go back to anyone who's working on their phone. You actually don't go to events near me like we usually do. You tap on the button that's in the bottom right-hand corner with the 3 lines. Then you go to check sites and tap on that. And that's when you put in your code here, which is 159332. Okay. And it takes 20 or 30 seconds to load probably. So just wait. You'll think you haven't done it right. And now you tap go to start. And now you have a check sites course all ready to go. So all you need to do is you can send that code to everyone. And there you have your course. Ready to go. All right. Before we move on to the more complicated stuff, do we have any questions?
Patrick, on this, am I supposed to see a map or I just see a lot of code?
I'm not sure. Can you put your phone up to the screen and show me what you see?
You can't see.
No, I can't see.
No.
Send me a screenshot. Maybe email it to me if you can.
Okay.
I'm in the course and I can see the map.
Yep.
Really?
It's one of those auto-generated OO maps. Yeah.
I have the map too.
All right. I think this is you, Dave.
Okay. For some reason, I'm getting the snowshoe one up in Hickling.
Yes, that's the one I uploaded.
Oh, okay. There you go. I got it.
Yeah, it wasn't the course I just set up. I just had those.
Oh, that's what I
files
was
ready to go.
expecting. Yeah.
So yeah, your course is ready to go. So that's just really good for like a private, like a group or a school when everyone's running on their devices. If you want to print out paper maps, I believe you have to go through the official system that we have. So you'd have to send the files to me. But everyone who's watching, or if you're not a Hamilton local and you want to set stuff up wherever you are, and there's no one in your area, just get in touch with the administrator for MapRun, Peter Effney. Explain what's going on, and he may set you up at your own account, or he may direct you to someone nearby you who will do it for you. It's just your choice. All right. Any other questions before I go on to the more complicated stuff?
Okay, simple thing. I got my thing up, but I don't know where to put in the number.
What number?
Well, I hit the 3 bars, and then
Yes.
what do I hit?
Check sites.
Check site,
Yep. Second from the bottom.
and I get my results.
Pardon?
I get my results.
Let me just go. Red button. I see. I'm on MapRun 6 now. Are you still using the old version of the app?
5. Yep.
So it might be different. Check sites is somewhere on
Yep,
there.
got it.
But yeah. But apart, any other questions about just the setting up of courses in general?
Is there a way to put a pin on more than one event so you don't have to, if you have a different length courses, like if you've got a middle, have.
You need to create separate courses if you have different courses.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll have to create. You can use the same map file, I mixed them two up, the same KMZ file. But you need to have separate KML files for every course you set up.
So you would have separate pins for every course.
Yeah, I mean, we've done that for like Raid the Hammer. So I always just, set the longest course first. And then I create a new file where I just copy that file and then I just delete all the pins, or I'd move the pins around if there's new checkpoints or different checkpoints.
No, sorry. I meant the pin number when you're if you have to type in because you want to keep privacy on the course.
Oh, yeah, pin number. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Every course will probably have a different pin number. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, they will.
Okay.
Is there a reason you're not using the open orienteering maps to create the checkpoints? You're using Google Maps instead?
As in putting just control circles on like clicking. Yeah, so this is like that. So again, this is coming from a place where I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't believe these put it like this is like an image basically. There's
you can also export this as KML, like once you get the checkpoints on.
So the reason why I actually don't do that is this, like, so just say I've got checkpoint 11, I put it here.
Yeah.
Now I want to move it. I have to, it's like really awkward to like delete or move checkpoints you've already placed. Whereas this is like very, let me just go to, it's like, and I've done this many times. I've done everything. I've uploaded my course and realized like I've got this pin here on nothing. I would basically have to almost start from scratch if I did it on OO Map, whereas I've just done it and I've fixed it. So it's just, this is a lot more robust.
Sure. Yeah.
And I make a lot of mistakes.
And Patrick, this is not Google Maps. It's google.com/maps. It's different.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what, Remo Craig, I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, but just, it is two different things, right?
Yeah. This is my maps, right? But to me, they're the same thing because the picture's the same.
Yeah, that's the question, because they look very similar, but there's different functionality in this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And like, so you can also do this in Google Earth as well, what I'm doing. But again, I find Google Earth like just a little clunkier. Like it's much harder to like move pins around, even though I think it's like a better thing for especially for our X League courses. Like I can churn these out really fast now on my maps, whereas even on Google Earth, it's a lot harder.
Patrick, did you have to preset all these colored pins?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do. So if you want to change the color of your pin, because the default color is blue, just click on it, click the paint can, change the color.
But can we, if we were to set a course, can we just come and steal this from yours?
Yeah, I can just send you, I can share them, I believe. If I go back here, just say you're like, oh, I want to set a course in the area from X League April 9th, which actually you probably would, because that's literally the one that was near your house. I believe I can share somewhere. Actually, I think it's back on the main page.
Okay, it looks like
there's a share button.
There's a share button somewhere, like
right there in the box on the left above your pins, in the middle. In the white box on the left.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
oh,
share.
Look at share button.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's lovely. Anyone can see it. Yeah, I'm pretty like well versed in a lot of this stuff, Yeah. So then I would send this to you. So this was the one that was in the spring last year that started right on by Mill Street, where that was actually a very bad start location, as Craig found out. I remember.
Well, yes, I'm just going to point
people ran past it partway through their course, and it just automatically finished the course. That was all part of my plan. If we're all good, I'll move on to the more complicated stuff, which again, I have a feeling people are going to go, why do you do it that way? Cool. All right. So if people are happy with that, like if you're just down to set easy street courses, that's all you need to know. That's how you do it. Like I said, look for a Facebook post tomorrow, sort of directing you to our website. I'll upload the document that sort of goes through what I just did. Otherwise, let's go into the more complicated stuff.
Just another question.
Yes.
The mechanics we get. Do you
Yes.
have any advice to share just on setting things that are going to be a good course to run?
That's a good question, actually. I can go through that now. Yeah, because especially for these specifically for these type of courses, yeah, there's definitely been a learning curve. So this is a great example of a very bad start location. It isn't. It isn't. One of the reasons this was like April 9th last year when we were still like, we had no idea if like running next to a person for 5 seconds was going to transmit COVID. So I tried to like keep my start locations out of like relatively busy areas next to like parking spaces that weren't like overly popular. But the problem was you see this finished start location and you look at the course. I'm going to change the base map to like this, it's a little clearer. You could potentially do a big loop of your course through here and come back and be like, oh, I've got 15 minutes left. I'm going to go and collect these ones. But you run past the start, and MapRun F, if you run past the finish, it just automatically finishes the course for you, whether or not you want to. So this isn't a great start and finish location. You always want to put it in a spot where like people won't accidentally run partway through their course. There's some other things I don't love about this course. One thing I always wanted to stop people doing was running to a checkpoint, turning around and running back. One, because it just looks really weird to people on outside. And also like this, I think is a bad checkpoint because it's just randomly on the road. So people might just like run along Mayfair, run around until their app beeps and turn back around and go back this way. There's no obvious feature where that is. Whereas like this checkpoint is right on the junction of Tally-Ho and Lantern Lane. So you know as you're running towards it, the app should beep like when you're in the middle of the intersection here. And if it doesn't, as we've said, just like keep running. And we know how to like fix that. So that's the main thing I would add for course planning is try to make sure it's still on like very obvious features on the ground. It's like if I go back to the aerial map, like there could be a tendency to like, I want to put a checkpoint on this park here, but you don't just want to put this floating checkpoint just in the middle of the baseball diamond, because also on like this doesn't show up on the app or the maps we generate. This is just like a floating checkpoint in the middle of nowhere, and you don't want people just like running, looking at their phones, following the red dot until they get close to it. You want people to be able to identify, I'm running to that trail junction, I can see it over there, I'm going to run in a straight line to it, or around the baseball diamond if people are playing, which they won't in April. Yeah, there's another bad checkpoint, but I believe that's close to your house, right, Dave?
Yep.
Yeah, not to give away too much to, the identity thefts. They're the main things I'd say for setting an X-League course like this. Just identifiable checkpoint locations where we don't need to hang ribbons so you know where they are. And I think everyone doing that like remembers there was a learning curve when we first started, just getting comfortable like running to a checkpoint where there's no flag or marker to tell you where you are. And yeah, any other questions? Sweet. All right, let's talk about real orienteering. So I'm going to go through a process of setting up a training exercise that we've got running right now in February in where is it? Humus in Waterdown. One. So this is the course. Oh, I'm just bad with everything.
So this isn't going to be MapRun F. This is on Condi's and it's like real orienteering.
This is real orienteering, but this is still me getting it onto MapRun F.
Okay.
So this is getting this course available to run on MapRun F. As I did, as for any like orienteering course, I went out and flagged it. You still, in my opinion, people may have different, even like with virtual races and stuff we're doing right now where people are going to be run at any time. I feel like for things like this, where there's like checkpoints in the woods on like, traditional orienteering features like, valleys and creek ends and little re-entrants like that, there still, in my opinion, needs to be some sort of marker to tell you when you're there. Like anyone who's done this already knows there's pink ribbons out in the woods. I don't really like using MapRun F as the only like thing to tell you got to the right spot for these type of runs. That's just my professional opinion. Anyway, so I've gone out. I had with my trusty Garmin, which is, you know, you can't see it because I'm on map view, but anyway, my Garmin, I ran the course with that. And every time I get to a checkpoint, I hit the lap function on my watch. I'll tell you why in a sec. So I'll go out, I'll hang a ribbon, I will hit lap. I'll go out, hang a ribbon, hit lap. And I'll go through the whole course. And the way I have everything set up is when I finish, it just automatically uploads to Strava, which I just find the most convenient. So I've gone out over on this course. There's flags out in the woods. The course is ready to go, but I still got to like set it up in MapRun F. When I did this, I didn't know how to get this map into MapRun F. So we still use for this course the auto-generated oomap.co.uk map.
Patrick,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Just when you say you take your Garmin, you hit lap and you do all that kind of stuff, do
Mhm.
you have to do it in order or can
No.
you just do all of them?
Nope. You'll see as I go through it. I'll show you.
Perfect.
So I'll just go through how I do it. So I go into Strava. This is the way I do it. You can do this many different ways. Jay uses his phone and just uses Google again. Some different websites to just like tell him tell you your coordinates where you are on his phone. This is just the way I do it because I find it the easiest way to not pull my phone out all the time. You don't want to see all this. I want to go to my runs, which are here. All right, so here it is. All right, this was when I ran it. So I go to this. No, that's me. No one needs to see that. I go to that, and here I export my GPX file. There's like a multitude of ways to get GPX data out of various devices. It's different for everyone. There are different ways I could even do it from mine. This is just the most convenient for me. I export my GPX file. It downloads here. And now what I do is I'm going to use the existing the file I already created for it. It's just going to be a little bit faster, but I'll need to find it, which is February XXL League. So this is actually the final result is what you're seeing, but I'm just going to show you how I got all these pins in the right spot. You'll see this time I've got my set up just checkpoints 1 through 12. There's no various codes because that's the order you have to do them in. I now, to get my track, I add layer. I go import and I just drag this. And so here's the route I took. You'll see I actually forgot a couple. I had to go back. Actually, no, that's the start. So I've just realized now I can't show you guys. I might be able to actually. Actually, I will. So here's the GPS track. The thing is, like on this, I kind of know that these are all the checkpoints, but I don't know exactly where the right spot is. I had some GPS trouble that day, so it kept automatically turning off. So this is like this. I know this is so hacky the way I do this, but bear with me. I also open this GPX file in Easy GPS. This is some free software that is just another way of looking at that. So here's also here. What I can do now, it doesn't do it here. The problem is I can't quite show you guys because I'm using all my USB connections, but there's another way I do this. I'll detail it in the notes if people want to know it, but like it'll actually tell me, it'll indicate which one of these points I actually took the lap on, the lap marker. There'll be a little extra indicator on it, which isn't showing up right now. So just for example, it shows me that is the checkpoint where I hit the lap button. And usually I hit lap a couple of times. When they're close together like this, it really means there's a lap here, there's a lap here, and there's a lap here. So like that's the area roughly where the pin should be. So I look at that. Like I said, this is really hacky. And then I zoom in on here. And I zoom in, that's about as far as I can zoom. And so I guess that was it. So that's where I put the pin. And that's it. Now that, like, this is not a really specific technical way of doing it. You can, the way Jay does it is that he goes into the Google Maps app on his phone. Let me find it. Yep, Maps. And then he just waits, and like you can zoom in, you can like see the accuracy of where you are, and you can just put a pin down and it tells you your code. Let me just do a screenshot on my phone and see if I'm going to mail it to you guys.
So to Patrick, when you're talking code, it's giving you the long lat of
yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to just, let me just do something real quick. I'm going to try and send it to you guys. Yeah. And so I continue on. So yeah, to answer your question, Emma, for example, like that one, I believe that is, that one was checkpoint 11. So if you click on and see the pin, it's checkpoint 11. And then I ran and I put the pin down. I went to checkpoint 1 next. And that's checkpoint 1. So it doesn't really matter what order I ran the GPX file in. It's all about just where you put the pins.
Right. And then you would fix it later.
Yes. Yeah. And then,
Right.
yeah. So then, like, you know, and to be honest, the number of the code, the number of the pin doesn't even matter, or whatever. What was it called? The marker. Like that's the order. That's the order that it will be. So if I do 2, if I move that round in MapRun F, it will want you to go to that marker first, even though it says 2, and then it will want you to go to 1 next. It's just the order from start to finish is how it goes into MapRun F.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, let me just. Why can't I? Yeah. So, let me just. All right. So, and apart from that, so that is now my course. Just say, like I said, I missed a few, but you don't have to worry about going through it. And then it's exactly the same process. I export to KML. I generate another map in OOMap. This time, you know, this is the area here. So this is the one weakness until today. Like that's the map that's going to go into MapRun F. So this is unusable for what our purpose. So that's why anyone who did this course had needed to print off and run with this map, not run with the map in the app. But I've discovered today how to actually put our maps into MapRun F, which is great. And upload it, and off you go. I'm just going to show you now, I believe. Yeah, so, no, that's, yeah, so this is what Jay uses. So this is what a Google Maps screenshot. He just puts a marker down, and you get your lat and long right there. And that's pretty accurate. So there's like, I'm just showing you the way I use to get the data from my device onto MapRun F. There's like 100 different ways you can get lat and long. It's more about being confident with the accuracy of that data. There's another function in my watch where my GPS watch, where I can get a location, but it's extremely, the accuracy of the figures, like it only goes to 3 significant digits, and that's not enough. There were some early X League courses we did in the woods where I walked out, I took data from my watch in this method, and then I ran the course myself. I ran to the exact spot where I got that data, and the app wouldn't ding. Like, so it's you need like quite a few significant figures. Apart from that, that's all we do. That's all I do. People have any questions based on that?
So you don't get the map from OCAD then?
As in the map. No, so we actually we haven't purchased a new version of OCAD in 10 years, because it's too expensive. So I mean, there are ways to get maps out of OCAD into MapRun F or MapRun. I've actually just discovered today, I don't know how long this has been an option, but if I go the new version, this has only just been launched relatively recently. And I can't even, There actually is a way. So I use Open Orienteering Mapper, and there's a way. Oh no, MapRun F just have like if you can even just create. This is the new console that anyone can use. You can create a KMZ map from like a JPEG of an OCAD map, and use this function to get it in. So we will start doing that now. But we don't do that from OCAD because we don't have the version of OCAD we use doesn't have that functionality.
What version are you using?
Like 8 or 9.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's too expensive now.
We've got 12, so I can just export to KM.
Yes, yeah, it's very easy if you have 12 to just get the map in. I mean, the problem as well is a lot of our maps, not all of them, but a lot of our maps were transferred from paper to digital right when it was first an option, when you were actually like tracing the map on a tablet to like get it into like digital form. And like this one here's a great example. Like it's super warped in places. So like I superimpose like GPS tracks when I've run courses, and like this is nowhere near where it is in real life. So like having the map and having the course won't actually correlate with where it is on MapRun.
Right.
That's why I have to go out and like do what I did with like getting the GPS data on site at every checkpoint.
You mentioned MapRun 6. Are you using that one now
Yes.
then?
Yeah. It's basically I don't see any different. It seems to run a little faster. Anyone else?
Patrick, you recommending we should all go to MapRun 6?
You should. I think it's more stable more than anything else.
If they're set up the same way, the courses and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
So it wouldn't matter which one you had.
No, I don't think so. From my understanding, I've heard from grumbling from someone, I'm not going to say who, about how the results don't show up like if people are running MapRun F and MapRun 6, that the results all don't show in the same file on the app. You know, like if you look at your results on the app. But
that's half the fun.
Exactly. But I think if you look at it online, like if you look at it on here, I believe, where is it? There it is. Oh, Brendan. This is I believe everyone who's run it so far should be here. If there's anyone who's watching who doesn't see their name there, let me know. What is this? Emil.
This is Cumis?
This is Cumis. Yeah, so actually you can see, so, oh, does anyone, oh, that's really annoying. I can't even remember the pin code. Let's just, anyway, I can't be bothered to look at the pin. But yeah, so on the website, all the results are there. But I'm not sure, it might be on the app as well.
Neil, 4 seconds, man.
That was me running it backwards today also.
I figured.
With bricks in your pocket.
So I'm now just reading all the chat. I didn't actually have it on my screen, so
mostly
you're all clowns.
Bunch of trolls, Patrick.
I know. I'm just trying to be a good person. I just want to get trolled.
There are no legit questions.
That's good. That's good. Are there actually any real questions?
I have a real question. We ran a couple of the TOC races, and I don't know if it was the GPS signal, but you kind of had to be like right on top of the GPS. Is there a way to make sure the tolerance? Like,
yes,
I didn't hear you talk about.
There is. So I'll show you actually. I don't know. I don't think on check sites you can change the tolerance, and the tolerance is set to 15 meters. But if you see here, if I go into the admin version, if I go add event,
you sure
so these are all this is the special section, which only I have access to. Down here, you can change your punch tolerance. So for us, I always change it to 20 meters. I find that much more. And again, for like areas where the roads are very wide, just that little bit extra safety. And actually, my original logic behind it was, again, back at COVID times, we were like, we didn't want to have people to like run close to other people to get the app to register. So we like made the tolerance a little bit looser. But I've actually found 20 meters works much better. Anyone else?
Patrick, I have a quick question. It's Terry.
Hey.
If I'm setting this up for school, I know you mentioned at the beginning, but I came a couple minutes late and you
Yep.
said 10 cents or 50 cents per student.
Yes.
Who am I donating that money to?
So actually, let me share my screen. So you want to donate that to MapRun F directly. So if I go to MapRun, the main thing, here we go. There's right on the main website here. There's a donate button.
Okay.
And you just literally click on that. It's US dollars, but I think like I'll get in touch with Peter. I know basically because this is an Australian website, and this is all part of my plan to get money from Canada into Australia. But I think I'm pretty sure like the Australian and the Canadian dollar is parity right now. So just donate. I mean, you can donate more, you can donate less. You don't have to donate anything. It's just like, for us as a club, this is like basically saved us from like going under and me working at Fortino's. So
Right.
Anything you can, it would be cool.
Now my second question about that, if I wanted to do like one a month,
yes,
you said if I can use like that same model of map and then just switch the points.
Yes.
Now, is there any way, sorry everybody, because this is kind of just a personal question that probably doesn't help anybody else.
Good.
Is there any way for me to do it that the kids can start at different checkpoints?
Yes. I've never done that, but if we go into the course type, so if you go into the MapRunners website, it will tell you all of this, but I think this is scoring schemes, event types. There's mass. I have seen this somewhere. I've never had to use it, but there, when I was talking about like the file name or the name of the file, and you put all those different codes in, there is a code where you start it whenever you get to the first checkpoint is where you start. Start anyway. Here it is. See more details. There's a little YouTube video here. I won't start it because I think it'll be very jagged. There should be the new control should just find the usual way, including this. I'll work out this and get back to you on that, Terry. But yes, it is possible.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Patrick, do you have a way to import contours to a KMZ? Or a course that you don't have the base map for?
This is something like that's definitely beyond my knowledge. I'm sure there is. Potentially it's something I might even ask Tommy to find out for me, because he seems to be the expert in finding stuff for free. I mean, if I go back to it, most city websites have contour data, but getting that into, you know what? It would be, again, this is me being very dumb and not really understanding things, but I can't see contour data on this, but all right, I'm gonna let you guys in on how dumb I am. Just say there was this this had contour data in it. I had a basic map. I would take a screenshot of this. I would draw open orienteering mapper. There's a few people talking. Let me just get chat up. Because I might be okay. I'm gonna mute half of you. Let me just see. I could in open orienteering mapper. Let me just get a map up. Let me just go. There is. I'm just going to try and find one that I'm working on right now that already has stuff. So this is how I start my maps as well. This is where I'm drawing in roads and stuff. And like I've actually, so yeah, what I've actually done is like I've taken a screenshot that has contours on it, put it into my OCAD map under templates, and I literally trace them on, and then I can then export that as a KMZ file or KML file. There are 100%. There are better ways to do this. I know that. I might even. He's not as much involved with the club, but Mark Adams, like he does have like a lot of GIS experience, and I'd often ask him to do stuff like that. But so like for basic stuff like this, it's faster for me to just like hack it the way I just explained. But like in some cases, we actually did receive all the GIS data from the city of Oakville at one stage. And he just like did his magic, and we basically have, I can't bring it up because the map file's too big, all the contour data for Oakville, for example. Yeah. So my answer is yes, there are probably better ways to do it, but that's how I would do it.
Okay, thanks.
No worries. Anyone else? All right, that actually works out pretty well. If you have any follow-up questions, like something I didn't cover or that didn't make sense, wait for me to send through or like put a link into on our website. I would also say, like, if you're setting stuff up and you, for whatever reason, can't get in touch with me, the MapRunner's website forum is actually very good for answering questions on having problems. Like I've fixed a lot of things by just using the search function. You can see right here, there's a bunch of things, and which has pretty much solved my problem straight away. The guy who runs it, Peter Effney, is pretty good at responding, but because even in Australia, there is a time difference where sometimes he won't respond, but he's generally pretty good. Otherwise, unless people have any questions, we are done for the night.
Patrick, a quick question.
Yes.
When you were wanting to set a 40 to 60 minute X-League,
Yes.
how big of a map area are you going out and grabbing?
That's a good question. So let's go back to OO maps. Again, this is also just learnt, like from just doing it so much. Let me just zoom in, and I'll so actually didn't need to use. I could have just used other maps, but let's, for example, this is one of the early areas we're going to be using for the X League this season. It's going to be the area that is encased by this sort of like diagonal rectangle. My rule of thumb, and look, again, this is like me being kind of a little bit just like blasé and hacky, but it looks like it takes up about half the map area. So OO map, when you just click on it, it puts on an A4 or a letter size map. And these are always just literally how just this automatically is what I use at a 1 to 10,000 scale. That's about a 40-minute course.
So the size of the page almost is what it's grabbing.
Yes. So this is a letter. This is a letter size map right here.
At 1 to 10.
At 1 to 10, yes.
Okay.
So that area I know is going to be very flat. There's not much it's all road. And unfortunately, people like Tommy and Iris run so fast now. I have to keep the area and sometimes Craig. But
not Emil.
No. Well, not when he's not on his bike.
Wow.
Basically, I say if it takes up 50% of the map area, it's a 40-minute course. When I know there's not a lot going on in terms of like elevation changes. But just say this is, for example, here, actually, Terry, if you're still here, you might be interested in this. So this was actually one of my favorite areas from last year that we ran sort of across the QEW. This, like, it basically takes up the whole map. This is a 60-minute course. So if it takes up the whole map, it's like 60 minutes. This could even potentially be 70 minutes, really. I just don't really want to go that long.
And Patrick, is that with a certain number of checkpoints in that area?
I found it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, the courses I said usually have 33 or 34. In the spring, we had like 24. And it didn't really make any difference. But I just find the more checkpoints, the more route options there are.
It's how much of the map you use.
Yes, yeah. I mean, so for example, again, one of the early ones we're doing in the spring this year is this area here. So like the Ancaster Heights map, which we have an actual orienteering map for. So those of you who saw on our website today, I did get this map into so we got that into MapRun F now. So that's how there's a little sneak preview. But I know the escarpment, the Niagara escarpment, runs through here, so that area is a lot lower. So that to me, even though the area is about half again where we're going to run, that's going to be a 50-minute course. Just because I know there's that elevation change. And and the other thing was just general experience. If you guys remember, the person who set the course there, the X League there in the winter last year,
Well, we remember.
really did a really long, hard course that no one could finish. You guys remember that? Like that scumbag who just claimed 1,000 points and everyone else got like 250?
He's not in the club anymore, is he?
No, I don't talk to him. Yeah. So that, I mean, again, this is all just like experience. It's not like any sort of like like calculation.
Scientific method.
I don't measure the course. Like I don't work out like what the optimum route is. Like, you know, I actually find I think the courses are better that way. Sometimes there might be like when I look at like the route, sometimes I go, yeah, I made a mistake there. Like it was very clearly one optimum route, but I kind of like that sometimes the courses are unbalanced and different, just so like it keeps people on their toes. I mean, I like when I do them, I just start running. I'm not gonna lie, but I know there are some of you out there with string and those little like wheelie things that like measure distance, but like I know each to their own.
So Patrick, I just have a couple of quick questions.
Yep.
You suggested that we update to MapRun 6
Yes.
from MapRun F,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you would post the document on a link on Facebook?
I'm not sure.
Or-
I'll probably upload it to our website. I haven't really thought about that yet.
I'm just wondering how long I should wait to go look, because I won't remember after a certain point of time.
So I actually had planned on doing that again today, but like I said, I got distracted. And it also turns out my Word
Bright
license
shiny
is expired.
object.
Sorry.
Bright shiny object.
Yeah, it was. Well, look at it. Look, it's so good. Look at that.
And it's very pretty.
Yeah, it's way better.
By the end of the weekend,
and also, so my hopefully by end of day tomorrow, I'll have it up.
Okay, cool.
So I actually made this document like in the summer last year, and a few things on the app have changed. So I just want to go over with a bit of a fine tooth comb to make sure there's nothing incorrect on it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Anyone else? I didn't actually see who's here. This is really cool. All right, thanks everyone for coming. Like if you just have any other questions you might have not realized until now, feel free to follow up. Just shoot me an email. Otherwise,
Patrick, it's Dave. I do have one more question. When are you hoping that people such as what are on this call tonight produce X League maps and insert them into the schedule?
Not so actually. X League itself.
I mean, you've looked after that.
I've looked after that. This is more for people who want to so the XXL League that we will be starting in April for reals. I would like someone to be doing that for April. So one a month, basically, is what we're expecting from a club. What we expect from a club perspective. Yeah.
10-4.
Is there going to be like a sign up type thing to make sure people do different areas or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But if you want to pick an area and you want to do April, tell me right now and I'll put you in.
I am not volunteering. No way.
After we
all right.
just slammed them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's too bad because you basically just offered to. Next person to ask a question is doing May. I'll shut you all up. No, I'm joking. Does anyone, unless there's any other questions, I'll give everyone 5 seconds. All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. And like, I look for, and like, if you set courses, give me some feedback. Like, let me know how it goes. If you want me to look at your courses beforehand, yeah, I have no problem with that. Just let me know. Otherwise, thanks and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you. Thanks, Patrick.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah.